Giuseppe, what are you doing?
Well, I was supposed to do my custom truck and get it in gold today, but they sent me the wrong activator. So now, while I'm still waiting for activator, I can't do nothing all day. So I'm working on the shitbox again. It needs front rotors.
I might as well do something today, right?
It needs front rotors.
Yeah.
While you're driving, the steering wheel's dancing all over the place. So I'm going to do the front rotors.
When you hit the brake, you mean?
When you hit the brake, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, change the rotors. I'm almost positive you got a caliper that gets stuck on this side. Overheated the rotor. The rotor got warped. Hit the brake. Everything's shaking. And forget the whole thing. I'm having a bad day myself.
Why? What happened?
Huh? I ordered parts for the minivan. Right? Everything came in wrong. I come in to use a door. I put the key in the door to go open it. I go to open it. I turn it. And the key snaps. And it's raining, and then the key snaps. I was already in a funny mood. Now I gotta go get a key done. The guy's not there. He doesn't know anybody. So there's my day. I got 2 pieces of a key. I went in.
At least
they must have changed shift, so now I got a key. And it works.
That's it.
Yeah.
At least we're not alone on our day, huh? Everything went wrong.
Somebody's gonna cry that you took the wrong bolts off first.
Yeah, I know.
You know that, right? The bolts! You took the wrong bolts off. You know, you got some of the best followers that the world can ask for, but every once in a while,
you get this comment.
This peckerhead will wander in. What's the comment from this morning somebody was crying about?
Spark plug tester.
Oh, you don't need a spark plug tester because...
Leave the spark plug
That's right.
in.
You don't need... because under compression, maybe it's not sparking. What the f*** you want me to do? Here's the piston. Hey, it's the spark plug. Sparking when it gets to the top. How the f*** you want me to test that? You can't test that. But at least I can see if you're getting spark somewhere on a car that's not running at all. But if everything checks okay, maybe we'll throw the spark plugs in the car.
I don't know. I already did one side, so that's nice.
That's the one that's stuck, see?
Man, there we go. Now we check if these slide free and,
Yeah, that's the problem. It's keeping it pressed up against the rotor when you're driving, overheating them, and warping the shit out.
This side is not so much, but it's still not good. So now, let me loosen
Take the bracket.
the rotor. Nah, let's loosen the rotor first. Here's usually what I do.
Turning? See, that tool is only made to loosen them up a little bit. And the vibrations of banging the shit out of it, it helps. And that's the banging tool, right?
And that's off too. Alright, now,
Get the new one.
we gotta clean in here, right?
This side's spotless. I remember a long time ago, isn't it? And
Yeah.
now it's got oil and everything. It's clean.
Ah, I had to get some carb cleaner. Ran out.
What are you talking about? You got 2 right here.
Oh,
Well, anyway, whatever. Take those out because you got to go put them in the back.
Yeah.
What does K&N stand for? Anybody know? It's a million years that I've been dealing with the product, and I never asked myself exactly what it stands for. Anybody know? Let me know. You know?
Alright. Done.
You know, they make something for that. It's called brake cleaner.
Yeah?
Yep. Carb cleaner works just as good. It's all alcohol based. It melts all the, grease off.
Alright. Find the hole. There we go. These have to slide left and right perfectly free, and they don't, see? And another thing, the brake pads have to slide into tracks 110% free too.
What happens if they don't?
They don't, even when you're not on the brake, this rides up against the rotor, produces heat, and warps the rotor. So when you go push on that brake pedal, your steering wheel's going ballistic. So I'm going to show you how to fix these not riding on the rotor. Now I know there's a few of you out there that when you push the brake, your steering wheel shakes. So this is how you fix it. Now people are going to say that the rotor, it's not called a rotor, it's called a disc. Here we call it a rotor. Just want to get that straight. Alright, so if you're reusing your brake pads, which is what I'm doing, I mean, I still have a little meat on them, but I should be changing them, but that's another day. I'm just focused on the rotors right now. If you're going to reuse your pads, grind this edge like this. Now do the same thing on the other side. And now where this slides on the tracking, hit those a little bit with a file. Just clean the dirt off. That's all you gotta do. Just like so. Now, they should look like that when you're done. We're gonna clean all the garbage and the brake dust of where the brake pad sits and slides. We're gonna clean it, scrape it up real clean. Okay, then, this is usually the way I do it. Put the rag on the tip of the screwdriver, right? Get carb cleaner and spray it, and then you wipe it with this, with a rag on the edge of the screwdriver. It's just easier that way instead of putting rag in there with your fingers. It's easier like this. Now you still have the top you gotta do. My assistant will spray it this time. There we go. Just like so. Now we're gonna grease where the pads slide back and forth, and you gotta grease the pins where the caliper slides on, because it's gotta move back and forth beautiful. Now don't use just any grease, you gotta use a special grease. It's high temp grease. We got our hands on AGS. It's brake lubricant high temp. You know what happens if you don't use high temp? If you use regular grease while you're driving, your grease is gonna come off, go on the rotor, and disappear. You don't want that. You gotta have high temp grease that is gonna stay there and keep everything moving and lubricated. So let's put some on here first. Just put just enough because you don't want this on your rotor or pads. Just enough you gotta put. Now we're gonna put some on the pins. 1. And 2. Slide them in. Now, take the air out. And it stays, see? Just like so. Usually what I do, I put some grease on the back side of the pad. You know why? It reduces brake squeak. So, let's do that. Do the other side. So even if you get new pads, still do this process. Just like so. Now, we're done with the grease. That's all you need. So this is for the backside. You know what this does? It's a sensor, we'll call it. This scrapes up against the rotor and makes a scraping sound. That's how you know it's time for new pads. Do you know why they do this? This way you can save your rotors. You don't wind up metal to metal. So this, what this sensor, we'll call it, is towards the inside of the rotor. The one without the sensor is towards the outside of the rotor. So let's go put this one on. The one with the sensor is harder to put on because it's almost as if it's spring-loaded. So you gotta push down and then put the top one in. So where it slides, you put this side in first. This goes towards the bottom. Never put your brake pads in with a hammer. A lot of people do that. Worst mistake you could do. Don't think it's time to put the caliper on because it's not. You gotta get this piston and push it back. So there's 2 ways of doing this. With a channel lock, which is 50-50. Sometimes you can't do it always with that. And the other way is with a C-clamp. Alright, now that's the piston in. Okay. Put the caliper in. And now you're done. Now put your wheel on and go for a test drive, but you'll be just fine.
Taking over the world.